died. So we had to stop and literally use rainwater or get water from the other side of the island. Then the plants came back.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
it
it's
ended up
not,
being brackish.
yeah, not potable at all.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes at night you can smell a swampy smell coming out of the tap, so you know that it's salt water.
Well, what do you do with it? You don't bathe in that, do you?
Well, you have to. You see my nice tab?
I see that.
Wash your clothes in that.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. The water situation on the island is still very difficult, and as the government was trying to help the local economy, and a lot of water was coming in from the United States, what they did was they cut the duty-free concession for water. So water is I think between 65 and 100% duty on water now, so that if you buy water, you buy it from Nassau or the other islands. But there's still a Samaritan's Purse, and there's one more other organization still providing water. They truck it. They literally pump it out of the good side of the island where there's still some fresh water, and they truck it to stations, and you can go to the different stations and get like 5 or 10 gallons.
Wow, that's still not very good. That's not happening. That's not what needs to be happening for sure.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'm recording this, so we'll have an opportunity to share it with other people. So, you know, if any of you who are on the call want to be able to share this information with others that might be interested, just you can let me know and I can give you the link to tonight's call. First off, I kind of already introduced these guys to you, but you know, Dan and Holly and Michael, you can't see who's on the screen, Michael, but I'll let you know who's here. So Raul Armbruster's here from Kerosene Ministries. We have Pam Taylor, who is going to be our admin for the trip, and we have Chandler Harrison, who is our leader, trip leader. And between the three of them, they have been working towards getting the whole picture together, as well as working on a service project, as well as working on the different organizations that we're going to have the opportunity to meet when we finally get down there. We're hoping that COVID doesn't stop us from making the trip in February. We're making every effort to do that. I continually stay on top of our connection with our travel agent, as well as obviously staying in touch with Raul to know how things are going and when the country opens up or the islands open up to let us travel. So with that said, I wanted to introduce Raul and let him give you guys an update on what he's up to, what he and his wife have been doing, how long they've been there, and then we'll hear from both Pam and Chandler with updates on the organizations, as well as talk about the service project that we're hoping to get into. So go ahead, Raul. It's all yours, friend.
Thank you so much, Beth. And I guess to tell you a little bit about myself, I started out in broadcasting, found out early that I had a mouth that God could use. So I worked in broadcasting for a while, and then ended up going back to school and working in marketing in the cruise line industry. Had a very successful career, and ended up leaving the cruise line industry to get involved in humanitarian work, become a missionary and work to help people as much as I can. That was 18 years ago. So I was born in the Bahamas, educated in England, Canada, the United States, was away for a bit, and then I've been back in the Bahamas, just working there and helping as much as I can. You can count on a good hurricane every year or two to really make your work fruitful. Karen, my wife, she was the #1 television anchor in the Bahamas. I married up, but she has also committed her life in service to helping others. We started Kerosene Ministries in 2003, 2004, but actually registered it in 2005. And one of the reasons for starting the organization was we saw so many people falling through the cracks. There were other organizations. There were some resemblance of government programs in the Bahamas, but there were so many people falling through the cracks. We wanted to be able to help those people. And by getting to know them, understanding their needs, why they were failing, some of the reasons for them not being able to succeed, to grow, or to excel, uh, we started to develop ministries to help them. And we develop empowerment programs where we teach ladies to make jewelry, to make things for cottage industry, and then sell them. So that's a part of the empowerment program. Teach the young men to fish, so that they could sell the fish and literally take care of their families. In our fishing ministries, the average boat was taking care of 9 families at peak. We also put together God's Garden, which was a wonderful program where we grew fish, took the runoff from the fish, and grew vegetables, and used some of the vegetables to feed the animals, and then used the animal droppings and some of the animals products to feed the fish. So we had this cycle where we got some vegetables, some fish, and some protein coming from God's Garden. But between Hurricane Matthew and Dorian, there's almost nothing left down there. But I think one of the most powerful and needed aspects of our ministry, no matter what we do, the demand just keeps coming back, and that is feeding the hungry. Food security and providing hot meals has opened so many doors for us to be able to connect with people, to hear their hearts, to find out their true needs, to take some of those individuals, teach, train, and develop them into leaders or to be self-sufficient. So we provide hot meals, especially to seniors, widows, orphans, and single mothers. And then we have some families, the husband may not be working because he's injured, hurt, or sick, or now during COVID cannot find a job. And in fact, the mother's in the same position. So far, thanks to Giving University, we've been able to really respond in Grand Bahama and Abaco with the demand for hot meals up to 3 times a week. But we try to stay at least 1 time per week, so we don't use every dollar in 1 month and then the people are still hungry right afterwards. That ministry has really blossomed, created opportunities to help people and meet a significant need, especially in Grand Bahama and Abaco, since Hurricane Dorian. I think Karen had given me some numbers. We were in just over a year, we were somewhere in the vicinity of 67,000 hot meals being served out of that kitchen. In addition to sometimes we provide these little grocery kits. They average about $60, and the folks that can cook for themselves, we give them a kit so that we could focus on providing the hot meals for the individuals who may not have a refrigerator or a stove or cannot provide meals for themselves. The other part of the ministry is teaching, training, and developing individuals. And that we don't want individuals to be dependent on us for the rest of their lives. We want to give them some kind of competent skills so that they can take care of themselves and better themselves. So that's Charism Ministries and our focus and what we do. The other part of the ministry is missions. We welcome individuals to come, and when they come, we put you to work. But you also get a cultural experience that's unique to the Bahamas. The Bahamas is 700 islands and keys, a unique people with great needs, but they're hospitable, they're loving, they're kind. We are a little spoiled because of our proximity to the United States, but the uniqueness in the culture and their hospitality still very, very visible. very, very strong and very, very visible. So having folks come as a team and connect them to families, organizations, groups, and people, it really gives this cross-cultural experience that has been very, very beneficial over the years. That's Charism Ministries, what we do, what we continue to do, and how we continue to serve. For Dorian, we whatever was we were able to harness and get donated, we distributed and shared to those people in need. We worked with Abaco and specifically in Grand Bahama to distribute food, clothing, bedding, supplies, whatever we could gotten our hands on. We put together teams and had them come, and we called them strike forces, and they patched roofs, did some mold remediation, just help families wherever they could. Sometimes we went to a house and the water washed the door off, but the frame just had to be repaired and the door could be replaced. That's what we did. Whatever we were able to do and whatever resources we were able to put together to help in any way, that's exactly what we did and what we continue to do. There's still a lot of homes that are not repaired, still a lot of blue tops in both islands. There's still a lot of damage because COVID came along. In September, Dorian hit, and then COVID came along in March. By the middle of March, the country was shut down, including tourism, the #1 industry. So at present, we move between 60 and 80% of the people of the island, the employable populace of the island, being unemployed. So there's major unemployment. There may be some government numbers out there. They make it pretty, and they could explain the skew, why it is the way it is. But when you live on the island and you're meeting people all day, every day, who's not working, who you knew used to work, and there are people who worked in the bank and they're now coming to the feeding center to pick up 2 plates of hot food because they barely can put enough money together to pay the mortgage on their house. There's no money for food. So in a case like that, we still help them. We don't turn them away. So there are people who was working who are not working now because of the impact of the lack of tourists being able to come to the island. And then COVID, with the country being shut down and the inability to mobilize and move and interact, it is having a major impact on the whole country.
Hey, Raul, what's the percentage of revenue that is generated by the tourist industry? Would you say 50% or more?
I would say more than 50%. It is the #1 industry. So at least 65% plus.
So I think we kind of all come with the preconceived notion, those of us who haven't been there, that, hey, let's go to the Bahamas, and you're thinking about this great vacation. And yet, when I started talking to Pam and had talked to you, I realized that there was just this huge disparity in incomes and people's, there's like this protected tourist side that never sees the rest of the island and what you're going through. And so you're bringing to light a lot of important and necessary things for us to know. But so out of the population, so we talk about 65% is from tourism. How much of the population is actually employed by the tourism industry? Are we talking 75%, 80% of the people on the island, at least?
At least. The largest employer in the country is the government. Other than that, it's tourism or some residual benefit from tourism. Even the guy that catches the fish, he sells to the restaurant or the hotel that provide, that sells the food to the tourist.
Right.
So we have a little banking, but our banking industry was almost when our Secrecy Act was destroyed by a treaty that revealed the identity of owners of accounts. So there's no more Secrecy Act. So the banking industry, which was #2 industry, is now seriously not what it was. Yeah. So tourism is the primary environment for employment. Even small businesses. If you develop a small business in the Bahamas, you want to focus in some way to provide a service or product for tourists.
Yeah. That's gigantic impact. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry, I know
Hey, Raul.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a quick question with regards to the what percentage of the population is living below the poverty level?
It's hard to say with Bahamians because they're very proud and they hide that information a lot. But I truly believe that above 30 to 40% is living below the poverty line. And I say that because a maid may be working in the hotel and she has a job and she is working, but she's making about $80 per week. So she would be classified as employed and working and put in the category of self-sufficient. But if you're looking at her lifestyle, the kind of life that she can produce with that income, it's below the poverty line.
Big challenges. I can see why the feeding ministry has increased its demand, on your ministry, and how important that is to definitely be feeding the people. It almost feels like, and I know I'm not trying to be flippant, but I feel like we're barely scratching the scratch. We're barely making a dent in what we can do for you all, on the island. I wish there was more opportunity, but it's certainly opportunities to share this message with other people, right? To get this broadcast out further. And, I know Pam will talk a little bit about the different organizations that you are supporting and that are busy right now, or maybe not so busy with COVID, how they need help as well. So thank you for outlining that. Is there anything else you wanted to share before I kind of transition us on?
Yes, the Bahamas is reflective of many countries in the Caribbean. You see paradise. You see the commercials on television. You see the actors or actresses, and you see this beautiful water, and you see the Atlantis and this beautiful hotel. That's the tourist side of the island. But when you get outside of that area where the government has designed the country to be in a way, when you drive on a highway where you don't see the poverty. You get to the malls and the environment, the tourist area where all the fun and activity is, and you don't see all of that poverty. So you can come to the country like the Bahamas, and it looks like, oh my God, nice cars, nice people. Oh, but that is just the tourist side of the island. So as you come and you experience the country, just observe, look and see, and then you'll see through the cracks, and you'll see the real picture, and you'll see the real need.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions for Raul? And feel free to ask any questions as we go along. It's not a problem to interrupt. I'm going to share my screen and play a video. This is from Karazim from when Matthew hit, but I still feel like it's relevant for what's happening in today for them and the challenges that they face with regards to already kind of elaborating upon what Raul has already been talking about. And I don't mean to make this overkill, but I think it's really necessary to get a picture of what it is that people are experiencing, not just have him explain it. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yep. Yes.
Great. Okay, here we go.
No.
So Raul, I wanted to know if everybody actually recovered after Matthew, or was there still things that hadn't quite been put back together after Matthew and then Dorian hit?
Matthew created a major crisis in the insurance industry, which caused many people to not be able to afford insurance. So they were not able to repair and rebuild and refurbish their homes properly. And I think that's why some of the damage for Dorian was so terrible. Many families, they just patch up stuff instead of properly being able to repair it. And we see Matthew was a cat 4, I think 3-4. Dorian was a 5. Matthew lasted about a day. Dorian lasted 4, almost 5 days. So they never really got to the point where they could prepare for the next big one. Many people just would, a year later after Matthew, they still had tarps on their roof, like now with Dorian, and patch as best as you can.
Yep.
Because the cost of items go up after hurricanes significantly.
Yeah, that's why we need to get that shipping container down there, right?
Exactly.
Thanks for sharing this part. I know it's got to be tough to be vulnerable all the time and come and tell people, what's needed and to represent your people, but I think you do it well. So thank you for sharing these things with us. Let's see, let's go to Pam, and we'll have Pam share about some of the different organizations that we hope to stop and visit and get to know when we're on the trip.
Okay. In addition to Carasum, we should visit the Grand Bahamas Children Homes. It's a place for displaced children on Grand Bahama, but it also will take in children from the other islands, like the North Bahama Islands, including Abco and Bimini. There are 38 children there that are housed there, and they range in age from infancy to approximately 15 years of age. And some of those residents are mentally and physically challenged, some that are there. The home was just completely flooded, torn up, and they had insurance for the structure, but not for the contents. So everything inside was destroyed. They still, the children are not back there yet. They were evacuated to Nassau, I believe, right, Raul?
Yes.
And they're waiting to be able for them to come back. And then they're going to need all of, linens, beds, toys, books, computers, furniture, kitchen supplies, food. That'll be another thing to try to recover. So that's one of the places that we'll be going to. Do you have anything to add about them, Raul? Have you?
They've been asking the community for help.
Okay.
The patron, her husband died, and she has returned to England. So there's no major support for the children's home, the Grand Bahama Children's Home now. So anything that can be done will be a great help.
Yeah. And another one of the organizations that we'll visit is the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association. They develop and mentor young people and, coach them as well for softball, and they're in need of everything also. I mean, some of the things that they listed was clay dirt for the infield, bases for the softball diamond, fencing for the perimeter of the softball field and diamond, lights, rubber fence topping. I mean, it was just all washed away. The scoreboard, I mean, just everything. And they would they're not doing anything either. I mean, everything is stopped practically down there. The other was the YMCA of Grand Bahama. I did not get an update from them yet. We're still waiting, but as Raul said, COVID has practically shut down everything. So before the the hurricane, you guys know what the YMCA does. They, provide a lot of community services such as after-school programs, sports, swimming, recreation, and the arts. And the facility was flooded. It said with 75% of the roof was damaged. All the pool pumps, the exercise equipment, office equipment, perimeter fencing, dugouts, the soccer and baseball fields were destroyed. And the last word that we received was, and I don't know if they're still doing this role, was they were serving as a shelter for displaced families. I'm sure, hopefully that's changed by now.
Yeah, yeah. It was an emergency situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're touching on kids in 3 different instances. What's the population mix of kids to adults? Or, are we talking about, 2 kids in a household with 1 parent? Or do you know the demographics, Raul, about what we might find?
I think you'll find probably 3 to 5 children average per household. We have some retirees on the island, so they wouldn't have a house full of children, but they'll have a grandchild or 2. But the average family would be at least 3 to 5 children.
Is it a 2-parent household normally, or 1, or is it scattered?
The majority of the families single head of household, female.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Head of household, female being because the men have left to work, or the men have died, or what's the, why would it be?
I think it's in our built into our culture is a guy having 2 or 3 ladies.
Oh, okay.
And it's over the years, it's just permeated society to the point where there's just a lot of female head of household homes. And it's created it's creating a lot of backlash because, income, there's no income being generated by the poor guy to take care of his own 1 household, much less 2 or 3.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's a significant.
Wasn't the answer I was expecting, but
Right?
I mean, I could give you the statistical data and stuff to say it's one way, but that's the main reason. A lot of teenage pregnancy, and in our culture, if a young girl living in the father's house has a baby, the shame falls to the father's face. So the way of dealing with that is she must go in order for him to redeem his honor. So you have a lot of the young girls would get pregnant, and then the guy would take care of them. So now he has a second household and he's taking care of her, and she's trying to get her life together and rebuild her life while trying to mother a child. And then a second one comes along, and then a third one comes along. And now you just have a situation that's just spiraling downhill continually.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's a very important picture to have. I don't think I would have realized that. So thank you for sharing that. Pam, sorry, we digressed. Do you want to go on with your?
Well, those were the 3 other organizations. Plus, are we for sure set to go to Abaco Island for the day?
Dan hasn't, and Dan's on the call, so we haven't taken it back to the board officially, but now we have this call and we have a couple of clips, and so we're ready to go back to the board to get that approval to finish that off. And the fact that we are actually feeding people on the island is a good start. Yeah.
Okay.
Dan, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I think we actually have approval subject to, we had approval subject to finding transportation around over there and finding some legitimate nonprofits. So if we found some legitimate nonprofits at the board meeting, I'll just say, I'll update that part of the trip and say, this is the nonprofit we located. Or
Well, Carisum is one over there.
Yes.
Yeah, so just make sure I have the 1 or 2 that when I work with boards, I usually I try not to go backwards. I try to just keep moving forward. And so if we've located one or two, then I just try to make it a kind of an update and not a request. Because once you get it approved, you're approved. So, but I think we were approved subject to finding something that Raul trusted over there.
Well, and
What about it, Raul?
Christine, yeah, about Christine's ministry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Would there be anything else you can think of, Raul?
I think a primary need is always the children, because in many cases the children just can't do for themselves. They can't help themselves. They can't provide for themselves, and many of the children depend on the sporting events, the ministry and the activities that provide for children. COVID has taken that away. So there are a lot of children that are just home. The parents help them with their homework. They don't have computers. They don't have the necessary tools to continue to grow intellectually or academically. So that has been an area where a lot of people have been calling and talking about. It is what it is. You can only do so much, but any help, any creative ways to help children facing those challenges is an area where I think help is also needed.
Are the children in school on ABCO, or, what's going on there?
Yeah, not in Abaco. The school opened a week ago in Freeport. And I think they're trying to work to get schools open in Abaco. By the time as you get there, the school will probably be open for the January term, leading into February. But the challenges were the school buildings, were severely damaged. And then when COVID hit, they were just not prepared. School for the average child in the Bahamas now is watching channel 12, I think it is, or 13. And some recorded programs play, and they hopefully get something out of it.
So you don't know of any other organizations on ABCO that we might visit?
We were hoping that some would come back, but the problem is housing. When you get back there, how do you live? Where do you stay? That has been the greatest challenge. There are individuals who want to come and stay, want to return home, want to do more. But again, the challenge is housing.
I want to play a clip of Uncle David, who lives on Abaco. So I'm going to share that real quick with you all.
And Beth, when you're playing those, if it's got sound, we didn't hear the sound on the last one.
Oh, I had it up really loud, but I will try again. Thank you for telling me that.
Raul, this is from Kai.
Okay.
I don't hear anything. Do you guys?
Nope, I don't hear anything.
No sound.
No.
Usually there's an option where it says use computer audio that you have to turn on in order for us to hear what you're playing on the computer.
Hey Beth, there's a box.
Thank you, Holly. I thought I did. Here we go. We're going to try again.
Drinking this on water. I can't just not taking medication.
Yeah.
So I go in there.
How about now?
We can hear it now. Yeah, we can hear it.
But I got.
Sorry.
Buddy forgot you, everybody.
A couple of dollars with his national insurance, and I put that there. That's my money.
Yeah. All right, well, let's send the message out that they know that they have forgotten you, and hopefully they'll remember you. You're live on WCAY. I'll send the message out, Uncle David.
Yeah, but this is so. Have you seen this story? This document come down and start raining. Raining, you know, to get close.
Yeah.
Just got a little shot there because I got a plastic there. I pull it over now because I supposed to go up here to see if I can get me one little fridge because I can't be drinking this on water. I can't. I just not taking medication.
Yeah.
So I going up and the guy put me up and go get me one little fridge. But I got the thing over if it rained. Before I come back, I wouldn't worry about my bed getting wet. The floor get wet because we run over the floor, but I got the plastic over it.
Yeah.
Right going on, I put the plastic over it.
Okay, I got you. I feel your pain, Uncle David. I feel your pain. I got you.
Yes, Sam, but
Old you is?
86.
86?
86.
You would live Altia. Altia gone at
She
82.
was behind me. She was next to me.
Yeah.
She was behind me.
Okay.
She should have been, no. What our birthday was that?
Should have been 83.
Should have been 82.
83 in the next birthday.
So I just wanted to share that with you quickly to get a grasp of what it is like for some of the residents. Uncle David, it's hard to understand Uncle David because his dentures keep flipping out of his mouth, but he's cracking me up. You know, he's 86 years old. He doesn't have a refrigerator. They're trying to build this crazy looking igloo thing on part of his property. And, you know, he's still now, that was probably 2 months ago when that video was taken. You know, no power to his neighborhood.
His roof leaks.
His roof leaks, right? Yeah. He's got plastic that he puts down, like he said, and they're hoping like to give him this other igloo looking thing. But I think like you brought up, one of you brought up where there's no toilets, you know, so what's the point? Correct. You know, and there's no electricity right into those funky looking igloos. I mean, the igloos are off the ground, right? And they're on pedestals or stilts, which would save him in the event that, you know, the waters flood again. But it just seems like it's, and you probably can elaborate more, it's like Band-Aid after Band-Aid, you know, that keeps getting ripped off for whatever reason. Ineffectiveness. So you want to kind of talk about, you know, the government issues that are prevalent, and then we'll have Chandler come on and talk about your service project.
Yeah, I think the government, the clearest and most honest expression from the Prime Minister to the people was, we just don't have the money. And I think when he shared that, he was at a point where he had to let the country know there's no purse to go into to provide the necessary and essential needs that were created by the hurricane. And that continues. What Uncle David was saying was national insurance usually gives him a couple of dollars. It's his money because they took it out of his salary and he still can't get it. So, you know, so I think that is one of the problems that's still happening. We have a social services department in the Bahamas, but they were giving $80 per month per family. Now, you can imagine what that looks like and what kind of help that is. So the government is trying to do what it can, but it just does not have the financial resources to deal with such a major disaster compiled by a world pandemic.
So this has all kind of been heavy news. I know every time somebody gets on a trip call, you want to be uplifted. And I think we're uplifted by the sheer fact that there's opportunities there for Giving University to be able to go and make a difference. So I thought it would be good if we kind of pulled it all together and said, okay, here are the organizations we're going to go see, and here is the service we want to do. And we've built in a few more days of service on this trip than is normal. Typically we do like a half day of service, maybe a full day on most of the trips. But I think in this case, we're shooting for probably 2 or 3 days of service. I realize that not everybody who goes on this trip might be capable of service, and that's fine because we have plenty of other things to do. And like I said, you know, don't count us women out without a hammer, but there may be some people on the trip that, you know, aren't wanting to do physical labor, and that's fine. I think we'll have a good balance. But Chandler, I thought maybe you could share what you and Raul have been talking about.
No, well, we didn't talk a whole lot about the service, but because we're trying to figure out who we have that's going to be going on it, so we can kind of put that whole thing together. So the sooner that we can get the number of people that are going to go locked down, and so we know who we are and who can do what, it's going to be easier to determine how we do that, so that we can line up everything so that when we get down there, we're as, you know, productive as we can be while we're there on site. But we're aiming for 3 days. We just want to make sure that we have the people that can help us do the work.
Okay. So definitely, can you give us an idea of what areas need to be, you know, worked on? I know that we kind of,
well, anywhere from cabinetry to drywall to roofing to, you know, it's going to be different on each housing. You know, you could be doing door frames on one, cabinetry on another, roofing on another one.
okay.
It's just going to be a combination. Do you see any different than that, Raul?
That's it. Wherever there is a building skill, that skill can be used.
Okay. And we'll probably, my hope is that we'll get a few people with electrical background, you know, so they'll be
Electrical,
as well.
plumbing, carpentry, masonry, roofing.
Yeah, all of that. Okay. Great.
What about tools? What about tools and transporting tools down there, or are there tools available down there?
It's best to bring tools. We have a couple tools coming. I haven't seen them yet. They're still in the trailer palm set.
I hope they are.
Yes.
So if we can do like we did in Belize, where we pack a couple extra suitcases to go down and can leave a couple of them behind with a bunch of tools in it, that would probably be the answer.
Yeah, yeah. We just have to be mindful of suitcase weight, which we had a little bit of difficulty with a few of our people. So most suitcases are like 50 pounds. And as we get closer, we'll like hammer that detail out. But that's the average when we can do a humanitarian airfare with luggage. It's typically 50 pounds per bag. So we'll figure out, you know, at that point, what to pack those suitcases with.
Do you have a group giving you tools right now that's stuck somewhere?
Pam and John sent some, and Ed sent some tools down, and we're just waiting to get it cleared from customs. We're trying to get it without paying any duties.
And they sent, when you said they sent it down to Florida or somewhere?
No, it's actually at the port in Freeport now.
Okay.
It was shipped from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you guys rounded up some tools. Trying to figure out, a lot of times you can get tools donated. How did you guys get the tools to Fort Lauderdale, or how did that all happen?
Pam and John.
Well,
Well, did you put them in a box and you shipped them somewhere?
well, what happened was there were 2 utility trailers that were donated or we purchased used. Then different people, churches, gave clothing, food, and some tools also. And we packed all that and put it into the trailer. And then we hauled them down to Fort Lauderdale. And once they were in Fort Lauderdale, you had to take everything out of the trailers and put it on pallets, and they were wrapped. So
It was a labor of love, my friend.
Hey, I'm telling you, it was something. Raul, it might be, if you can find out about the van, what we could put, if we could actually fill it up, like maybe with some tools that would be donated, and put it in the van, and then put the van into the shipping container, maybe we could go around it that way. That might be an idea.
You guys are shipping a van over there?
Yeah, a
Yes.
used church van.
Okay.
Yeah, I made a note of that, Pam.
Are there
Okay.
tools available for purchase in the Bahamas, or are all the tools like
Yeah,
there's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are available, but a power drill that you pay $60 for in the United States will cost almost $300 in the Bahamas. A DeWalt screw gun it would be 3 times the cost.
Okay.
So what we usually do is have them donated or save up, buy a lot, and then ship them over to the islands.
Okay, so when a group buys you tools, they're put on a pallet, and my point is this: we might be able to get some funding for tools. I just need to know how you guys do it. Like
Purchase,
maybe
yeah.
$2,000 or $3,000 worth.
We just purchase it from Lowe's or Home Depot,
Okay,
and then just ship it over to the island. Yeah.
Okay, okay. When you kind of know what you got going with maybe here, with the construction part, maybe put together a tool list, and maybe I could get a little bit of the funding ahead of time for the tool part. Then that's the tools we'd obviously leave, but it'd be good to get you tools that you guys can use over and over.
The other thing with this that we learned is the cost of shipping. It's Raul, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why if you can put it in a van, that's actually a very good idea. They probably weigh it, but
Yeah, or if the shipping company allows it, because what they try to do is separate items so they can charge you for per dock receipt. So the tools would be one shipment, and then the van will be another shipment, and that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to
Yes,
figure out how
they
to
do.
make money. Yeah.
How did all the nonprofits that helped out over there? I assume there was a number. How did they get tools over there?
Same thing. They would bring it by I think the way they got around a lot of stuff is they brought in a 20 or 40-foot container.
Right.
Yeah, so a 20-foot container is between $1,900 to $2,200 to ship from Fort Lauderdale. You fill that up, and then the shipping cost goes down to pennies sometimes, because you can put so much in there and fill it right up.
Okay.
But they get you per pallet. They hit you like $260 per pallet.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and that's where they get you.
Yeah, the reality is on an airplane with people flying, you're not going to get a whole lot of tools because of the weight is the problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you can figure out a way, maybe we can get $2,000 or $3,000 freed up ahead of time, because tools might be a good thing to invest in for you guys for something we can build for a couple of days and then leave it there. I mean, is there a shortage of tools over there for all?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Because of the flooding. Yeah.
I will work with Raul, and we'll get you a list, Dan, of tools.
Sure.
Hey, Dan, will you kind of talk about the opportunity to give and match? We haven't touched on that yet.
I think that was on the food part.
Right, for students, for GU students.
Yeah, let me finish on the tools here real quick.
Okay.
Chandler, if we were going to do at one time we were bidding on a project over there as Power Plus. How would you guys get tools over there? Would it just be in containers and it's just part of the project?
Yeah, we were going to ship them into the port because they have a shallow water port there on Abaco Island, because we're going into Abaco. And so we were going to ship them in there, and it was, again, we were going to have the same issues that we're going to have now.
Yeah.
But they were going to be shipped out of Miami and over.
Yeah. Well, I think Hope Force was over there. Hope Force we have a relationship with. I think they were in the Bahamas for a while, and then they left. And I don't know, maybe we can check with them on Beth, maybe we can check to see if they left tools we could borrow, or where the tools are, or what they got tools over there somehow. I would guess they left them. I would guess. Maybe they don't leave them on their disaster projects, but I don't know. But maybe, I think tools would be a good thing as far as a longer term investment to help you guys out.
Absolutely.
And roll, we talking more just hand tools, or are you looking for, do you think it would be better for the battery power tools, or what?
I think the battery powered tools, because you're moving around all over and working, and so many of the places don't have electricity. Other than that, you have to drag a generator around with you.
Okay.
Do you have a generator there?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any generator needs?
For larger buildings, yes, but for the smaller buildings, the nonprofits that were there gave away the small generators. Yeah, those little the little one that run the refrigerator and give you some light, charge up your cell phones. Yeah, they gave away quite a few of those.
Why don't you let Chandler know what you need for the larger buildings? And you never know, because we're in the generator business. So anyway.
So Roll, I'll talk with you. I'll set up a time with you probably tomorrow or something where we can get a list together of tools and stuff.
Okay.
All right. I think the tools is kind of a thing that's bubbled up a little bit. I don't think any of us were aware of the shortage of tools, because every time we've done a trip and gone somewhere, it's not an island, and there's tools and stuff like that. So we don't even think about it that way. But this one's a little bit different because of the lack of everything, actually. So
I mean, because when we did it, when we were going to plan our trip over there, we planned on, shipping oil over, filter everything for the generators and everything. So
yeah. We've donated generators in the past, so that's why I'm saying, if you can just tell us what you need, it doesn't mean we can get it, but you never know.
Okay, we'll get a list.
So that'd be good. I apologize for being late. Anyway, I'm here. We had a food drive. I'm working with Beth on a couple trips, and we kind of have the same problem no matter what we're looking at right now in the world. Everybody's destitute, everybody's locked down, and nothing's going on anywhere. And everybody needs food and everybody needs money. So other than everything's dire, it's all pretty good. So anyway, we put together a food project in Lebanon. And Lebanon is probably just as bad off as the Bahamas, maybe worse. But anyway, we put together food kits in Lebanon. I think they were $60 food kits. And so we offered that to the team, the group that's going over. We wanted to make sure we don't ever ask for money, but we're not ashamed to tell people when there's stuff people need that's, realistic amounts of money. So anyway, we in Lebanon, we Reuben University donated $18,000 worth of $60 food kits. And we told the group about it, and we raised a couple $1,000 with the group. The group, people gave different amounts and in increments of 60 or 30. And I think we raised from the group of people or their friends or family or whatever, I think around $2,500. Beth, was that the amount?
Yeah, 27.
2,700?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my memory is pretty good.
You're really good.
Which is kind of exciting, right? So anyway, it was exciting to see that come from the group. Not that we, were pounding them or anything. We just kind of putting it out there. And then when I presented when I told the board what had happened, they did a match on that part of the. So we were able to tell the group we got double what they had donated. So on the Bahamas trip, I think we what was the food donation we made on this trip, Beth?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I think it
20,000.
was
20,000.
20,000.
20,000. And what was the, what were the units of food?
60. So it was $60 per bag. And I think I have a picture of what was put in it. I think Karen put that together, right? And so we were able to get that out to the families, last month, I think. And then we also provided money for hot meals for Abaco and for Grand Bahamas.
Just I'll be done.
So we kind of did the same thing with the Bahamas group.
Chelsea.
And so I just wanted to let you guys know if you're able to make a donation and you can do it in the next, say, 90 days and just tell us about it. Or if you have friends that want to help you a little bit with that, there's a good likelihood it'll be matched. I can't say for sure it will because it hasn't been, but more than likely, Giving University has been very interested in just helping people in really awful situations this year. And we realize we're blessed because we have work and we're able to have jobs and have food ourselves. And so we just wanted to let you guys know about that. The document that Beth just showed you, are we able to give that to the group, Beth?
Yeah.
There's nothing confidential in there, I don't think. So we'll provide that to you guys, and then you guys can kind of do with it what you want. If nothing comes of it, that's fine. If something does, that's also fine. Let me ask, Beth, how many of the people that are pretty much going, how many do we have right now?
On the trip so far,
Yeah.
signed up, 6.
6?
Yeah.
And then we have a pretty big interest list, right?
Yeah, 13.
13, okay.
And then how many people can go? How many people can go over to Abaco?
13.
13. So we'll probably cap the group at 12 because I think for Abaco we have to have one less than.
We could, well, yeah, Raul has to go on it, but I thought we could cap it at 15. Not everybody has to go over to Abaco, but we can talk about that.
Right.
There's
Well,
14 that can go to APCO. 14 can go once counting Raul.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Oh, 14, what did you just say, Pam?
I said 14 people can fly over to APCO, but one of those 14 needs to be Raul.
Okay. So we'll be there, we'll be somewhere in that ballpark, 12, 13, 14, 15 people. So anyway, we'll put that out on our Lebanon call. We had a lot of interested people that really were interested in Lebanon, but they weren't necessarily going. And some of them made donations for our food project there. So when we do these calls, we realize we're in a really different world right now of like we're all stuck. And so we have, the lists of people that are signed up, and then we have these big interest lists of people. And so we try to kind of combine it into these Zoom meetings and say, here's what's going on, here's what we're going to do. If you can't go with us, at least we're doing good stuff. There's some opportunities for you. So we're kind of in that space, in that world right now. So anyway, Beth will get that out to you guys and the interested people. I think our group email includes everybody. And so basically that was what we did with the food project. Do you guys have any questions on that piece? Pretty straightforward, okay.
Just how long is the duration of the trip?
Oh, that's a good thing.
9 nights, 10 days.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
what are the dates on the trip again?
February 19th through 28th.
Okay, so that's like right around the corner, like everything. One thing I think I'll talk a little bit back or bounce around a little bit. Raul, is any vacationing or tourism going on at all over there yet, right now?
Not yet, no. The Prime Minister made a speech on Sunday, and Parliament is working on passing a bill that will allow individuals to come with just a COVID negative test beginning November 1st.
Okay.
So I think Parliament meets on Thursday. They should vote on it. If that passes, then the 14-day quarantine will be lifted, and then tourists can begin to come back on. They're gonna go with private planes first and then commercial planes afterwards.
Okay. My question is this, because I have to deal with it on all the trips right now. Let's say I go on vacation over there on a tourist trip, let's say December 1, and I go over there, I have a negative test. What's the deal if you get COVID over there? What do they do to you? Or what's their plan?
If for some reason there's a test and you test COVID positive locally, then you have to self-quarantine. They put an app on your phone that creates what is called a geofence. And if you come outside of that fence, the alarm or buzz goes off, and some people come check you and make you go back home. But
Okay.
self-quarantining is the answer.
What are they going to do with tourists?
I have not heard the last conversation that I can remember hearing anything relative to that was get a charter and try to fly them back home.
Okay, that's one thing that I'll need you to navigate the waters a little bit and try to figure out is, what happens is, is there, let's say we have one person that gets it, is there a place they can stay? I got to make sure they're good. I got to make sure they're fed. I got to make sure, we'll pay for it. We just need to know kind of the expense. We just need to know what the deal is going to be, because I'm sure these Parliament guys are going to have to figure out something with tourists to get anybody to come over there in the first place. And I don't know if they'll comp you at a hotel or what the deal is, but somehow or another we'll have to figure out a plan of what would happen, because that's going to be the hardest part of getting these trips ramped up again and actually going somewhere is, what do we do if we have a problem?
Okay, I will work on that.
There's no easy answers. We could take some of the medicine with us that is out there. If you get COVID, there's some stuff you can take, and probably we would do that. And I know the president took some stuff this last weekend, and it was the expensive stuff, but it was still it wasn't FDA approved and all that. But at some point, everybody's going to have to figure out how to get this thing to get off the dime to go. And then we'll have the same problem with the groups, because it's easy to sit on a phone call tonight and say, yeah, I'm all excited about going to the Bahamas, kind of. But February is going to be here before you know it. And I don't know if you guys discussed dates at all ahead of me getting on the call. Did you guys talk about it at all, Beth?
Nope, you were the first to bring it up.
Okay, we've set 2 sets of dates on all these trips. And so the date we have right now for you guys is whatever you just told me. But we have a second date if this doesn't work.
Got 2 more dates.
I'll pull up the flyer here. Hold on a second.
Good morning.
I have them if you want to know.
Yeah, tell me what they are. I thought we only had 2 dates.
The second one is July the 10th through the 19th of 2021. And then the other one is November 1st through the 10th of 2021.
Okay, so probably what we'll do with your group is we'll probably go the dates that the core group, the leaders, the people that are core to the group. Oh yeah, there we go. That's our new flyer. So that's good. So we'll probably do whatever the group feels good about, and I can get the board to approve a plan on, you know, what goes on. Now the Bahamas, let me ask you a question, Raul. How far by boat is that from Florida?
56 nautical miles from West Palm Beach to West End, Grand Bahama.
Okay, because
From-
maybe another, do people do boats back and forth a lot?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, because another way we can work on look at this is if we can get, if we have an infected person and we can get them boated over somehow by, you know, somebody with a boat, obviously, and get them to Florida, then we're a little bit, you know, we're at least a little ahead of the game because we got them back in the United States. This is the same thing I had to go through with Mexico. We had a trip from Mexico planned for last week that we bumped into next year, but it was a little easier trip for me to figure out because I could drive people back into the United States from Ensenada if we got in trouble. And, you know, then they could quarantine for 12 or 14 days up in the United States. So that's kind of the realistic hurdle, but everybody's going to have to figure this out. The cruise lines, the, you know, the tourism industry, the government. And so maybe they'll come up with some creative thing that works. Like maybe they'll have a deal on hotel rooms or something. Does that make sense to you guys?
Absolutely,
It
yes.
does.
Yep.
It does.
Because I've flown around, I've made 6 flights during the time of COVID, but where I'm flying is 2-hour flights, so it's way different than you know, overseas flights. And I think for this trip, is it a direct flight to the Bahamas from the United States?
Atlanta it is, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I think,
Not for us Californians.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but
from California, you probably would connect in Charlotte or Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Miami, yeah, Miami would be the kind of the hub. So, you know, they might have a plan in Miami because aren't they the kind of the hub for all the cruise ships and all that also?
Well, what about our travel insurance that we have coverage, that's emergency evacuation coverage?
Well, you better ask them. I don't know. I have no
I'll
idea.
ask them.
COVID is all strange and different. And, you know, it's just,
You know,
it's going to be slow and ugly getting out of this. It's all I can say.
yes, but we need to look forward to something. So we're looking forward to this, even if we can't go immediately.
Right. But the good news is we have 3 days. So that's good.
We do.
But my point is everything sneaks up on you really fast. And, you know, when you book airline flights and time off and all that, like for this trip, you have to do that all in probably the last part of December or first part of January. So, you know, it's right around the corner.
Yep, I agree. So we've been on for like 1 hour and 20 minutes for most of you. So does anybody have any questions that you want to ask, or you're like full up to here and you've got everything and we're good to go? I'm going to send out information to all of you on the call as well as, you know, the list. And then, like I said earlier, this link will be available to anybody who wants to send this to people that you know who might be interested in going. That way they'll get the full picture. Okay.
And the other thing is, if you hear of any ways people are figuring out this COVID thing, please let us know.
Yep.
We have a really good travel agent in Sacramento. I mean, he works with all kinds of big groups. And so we, you know, we talk to him all the time, but we're really open to, you know, especially if you're Raul, because you're over in Bahamas, you know, whatever the government comes up with, probably, you know, best keep us updated. So maybe they'll have a plan for some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I just had a question for Raul. With regards to, we were talking about food and tools. What's the bigger of the 2 needs that you guys have down there? Is it the food or is it the tools?
I think the greatest need is food. But if you're working on a project, then the tools would become priority, because what you would spend to purchase them on the island, it would be significantly more than if we were able to get them in the United States and ship them over.
Is there
Yeah,
rebuilding going on at all?
Pardon me?
Is there rebuilding going on at all?
There is some, but it's limited because of the number of people that can really work together.
Okay. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Well, the one thought I was having with regards to getting the tools down there, is that we may be able to, help train up some of these unemployed guys or girls that, might show a talent for carpentry or other things like that when the team comes down, so that we can leave them to, be able to move things forward down there. But that was just a thought.
That's a good thought.
Mhm.
Chandler, I want to make sure you know we have a location in Florida, right?
Yes.
Okay, because it's a place, if somehow we figure out this tool thing, we could maybe get stuff there. At least we got it close. So,
True.
we have plenty of storage in Florida right now.
Okay.
A few hours from Miami, but yeah, it's close.
Yeah, I mean, it's closer than California, but anyway, we have a location in Florida.
Okay. Nobody has any other questions, we'll sign out, and we'll circle back with you, Raul, soon. Thank you, everybody, for being on.
Thank you.
And Beth, when will we have another meeting tentatively, ballpark?
Question. Probably we should do that the first part of November, before we get into the American crazed Thanksgiving, if we survive our election. So let's say maybe we'll shoot for maybe the 3rd. No, not the 3rd. Why not the 3rd? Why not election day? It'll just be mayhem. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, maybe the 5th or the 12th. I don't know. Are Tuesdays okay with everybody? Do they get nods around? Okay. Maybe the 10th then. We'll shoot for November 10th for our next call. All right.
Hey, Beth, one last question. So if we get people that want to donate for the trip and they want to donate directly to Giving University, is there an avenue to do that?
Multiple avenues. They can send a paper check to me at the office. We can also do Venmo and PayPal. And I can get those instructions out in the email with all of the other information we talked about.
Perfect. That would be great.
That way you'll have access to that, and you can have people, send it direct to me. You don't necessarily have to handle it if you've got people interested. Okay. All right. Thanks for asking that. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Beth.
Yeah, thanks for getting on, Michael. Good to talk to you.
Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everybody's time, and I look forward to going down on this.